Hello, hello. We're doing more burner designing today. We got decent progress last time. Now I think we got all of the recipes that were missing, just in terms of missing recipes. I don't know what else I could have added to that. I do need to go through and check to make sure our mall is actually producing stuff. I think all of these produce a little bit slow, but maybe they don't need to produce as full speed as I'm picturing. These are hooked up wrong. Okay, well that's something that needs to be fixed. At least it's on the lowest layer, so it's easy to find where it's messed up. Oh, they're all they're all kind of backwards. Okay. That's going to be annoying to build by hand. We need to set up the coal compressor. Okay, so there are a couple ways that we can do the coal compressing. I don't necessarily know which one is best. So with the way this is set up right now, let's try to grab this section right here. This should give us a good idea of how many inserters we have. Okay, so this is probably one of the longer lanes. So I think we can assume that we don't really need to run more than about 60 inserters constantly with the fuel lane. Each inserter on average, it's actually really hard to say because it takes multiple at once halfway through the run. We have to make an assumption. We have to just kind of make an assumption for how much we think they consume. They should be able to move like 100, I think 60 items. Let's see, if I fill it with 100 coal, I think it moves 60 items over the course of 100 seconds. Oh, never mind. That's with no stack size. Or that's with stack size upgrades. There we go. This should give me a more accurate estimate. I don't know why the UPS is so low. I think we might be running more stages than I'm thinking. Because yeah, 200 is a bit rough for the whole base running. Or for this small amount of the base running. There's definitely something off here. Also, why aren't these running either? Oh, these aren't cooked up to power. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's at 50. It should be mostly done. I'm realizing now that this doesn't tell me anything because I shouldn't have fed coal there. I meant to do a different resource. Okay, that's the starting fuel. Perfect. Okay, so chest to chest, it can do about 6 items. Although that's not that helpful. It will be nice. The inserter that feeds the rocket into the silo doesn't really need to do anything, so that's cool. So this theoretically should stop around 60 or so. And then we can just kind of triple that for solid fuel. But if it's 60 over the course of 100 seconds, that will give us our max production. We actually really only need the duration, but yeah, if it's moving about 60, that means it's moving about 0.6 per second. Which means it did last about 100 seconds. Okay. Right. 100 times 0.6. Yeah, it's about 50. It's actually a little lower than that. So let's round up. I would rather overproduce or overestimate coal. So 1 over 100 seconds. That's a reasonable estimate. We can assume each inserter uses about 0.01 coal per second. Now that is like its absolute maximum consumption, and that's assuming it runs full speed, which none of these do. But by overproducing, we also kind of get a decent idea of how many inserters we need. Or if we overproduce, the saturation time isn't incredibly high. Which means we don't need a ton of inserters, is what I was getting at there. So that means one inserter can reasonably feed about 60 constantly running inserters. So that means one inserter here could work decently. So the startup time will be low, but these are all hand built. So we're not using the coal grid for mini bot builds. So I think we can afford to do... I think we can afford to do dedicated inserters. So that would change it. And the reason I want to do this is it makes the initial build significantly cheaper. Since early on I can't do like a mega compressor, right? That's really slow to build and it's really expensive. So one option is to just skip the compressor and just split half, 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 and half, and just have that no more than like 8 in a row or something. That's reasonable. Another option is to do this instead of splitters. Now the advantage of this is you can do this without having any inserters, or without having logistics upgraded, but that doesn't really change anything because we need logistics for the lane anyway, so really changes nothing in that regard. Now the startup time, the theoretical startup time for this is incredibly low. You do have the option later though of doubling up, which is nice. So if you design it like this, and you do multiple in a row, you could double up the inserters to increase the start time, or you can just wait until stack size upgrades. That will naturally double it as well. Both of them are decent options. Or we could use the splitters. Splitters, how many do I really need? Because I think our best bet is to have a lot of splitters, but don't have that many compressors. Because, like I said, compressors get a little bit pricey. So if we just do like a splitter, 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 and then we do a compressor every 4, maybe even every 8, that should be fine. It's like if we divide that in half, that's 15 divided by 8, right? I accidentally opened Discord. So that means we can almost do about, on average, 2 fuel per second for each lane if we do a compressor every 8 splitters. Which is more than enough. That's still equivalent to 1 fully upgraded inserter. And it means, and because they're split like that, one of them can compensate for the other. So if we have spare fuel, we can actually utilize it. Whereas if we do the inserter lane and we have spare fuel, that doesn't matter. Spare fuel can't be used in another lane. This isn't running. Oh, it's just full. Okay, cool. I was worried it didn't even have the icon, so I was worried it was completely broken. That was weird. Must have had to do with some weird rebuilding aspect of it. Anyway, so splitters are okay. We do want to reduce the amount. We definitely want to reduce the amount of fuel I use, though. These splitters are incredibly expensive early. Is there any way I can convert it and do both? Because that would be cool. Because if I could do a setup that doesn't use a splitter at all, and then do a splitter later using smart belting, that could work really well. So one option could be something like this, right? So this could work well. So this would mean my starter lane would actually be the second lane. And then I use inserters initially just for the furnace. And then when I build the second lane, we just have splitters next to it, which theoretically, could splitters just be here? No, they would have to be here. Okay, so the spacing is a little bit awkward for the splitters. And then we could smart belt past the underground. So this would be way slower to build later, but it would be really fast early. But it will be fast whenever we're worried about Gotlap. But I feel like this, I can't imagine, this probably isn't a slow way. I can't imagine this is a slow build. Not slow enough to be worth building about. Because like we can just go through, place all the belts, and then splitter, 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 splitter. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit annoying, right? Like that took like 10 seconds. But this part's pretty easy. Yeah, that's not slow. And then we add the compressor later. Now the issue with this is it will kind of overwrite the ghosts if I want to build it in a really fast way, but I don't think it'll overwrite them too bad. Yeah, okay, I can make that work. So we need a compressor here. We definitely need a compressor here. because this is the stuff that goes into the fueling lane. So that needs a dedicated belt. So actually, no, we don't need a compressor here. We need a compressor after it, actually. Which means initial building, we would just want one here, and then we should be we should be we should be K. We should be fine. And then this, I think compressor, or I think prioing them all to the left will be a good option. And then this fuel lane goes here, and then it wraps around. So this would have a different prio. This goes into the labs, which is somehow flipped, I'm assuming, in a later blueprint. If I had to guess, that's usually what that means. Okay. How are so many blueprints flipped? I'm worried that we have a lot of undergrounds flipped, and they don't even, it doesn't even make sense why they're flipped, but it's really bad. Really bad when they are. Okay, so yeah, I think the splitter setup is all right, and then we just do a compressor every roughly half a lane or something. Maybe I shouldn't do 8. Maybe I should do like 6. I don't know. Whatever this divided by 2 is, 7. I don't know. Dividing the smelting lane into 2 just seems like a good number for me. That would be every 6.5. Okay, that's not a clean number. Guess it doesn't matter, but these aren't running. I think that has to do with the red belt. Wait. Huh? Oh, this stage was disabled. There we go. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay, yeah, and these aren't running because of red belt. That's totally fine. In the actual run, there won't be red belt, especially this lane. This lane just won't have red belt at all. And then here we are slightly short on red belt. Technically, I feel like I should upgrade part of this lane. Because like I could do red belt up to here, and then red belt output here with a red splitter, and that will decrease the cost of the red belt pretty significantly. It would reduce it to like 10 total red belts or something like that. Well, plus this side, so let's call that 25 red belt plus a splitter. Yeah, plus this splitter. So that'll be an annoying upgrade, but we might need just a little bit more copper here, basically. We need to get the steel furnaces through the base. So theoretically, this is producing a fair amount of steel furnaces. However, there is no good way to get steel furnaces out of this. So how do we smart build this? I don't think we can smart build this. I think this will have to be hand built. Because I want to output out of here, which would be something like this. Unless we move this down, we could theoretically move these to a different spot and then do an output in a different direction. But this could work. And then same with here. Now that's making me wonder, can I just make the outputs sideways initially? Would that be okay? Because I would like to reduce the amount of... if I could coordinate these into one chest, that would be awesome. Actually, do I need to move these through the base? I might not need to move these through the base. How many total furnaces do I have? 3,000. Okay, so that's not that much for bots to have to fly through the base. It's really just a matter of how much do I need for my outpost. Those produce 0.33 per second at full speed, which I doubt they produce. And then we have way more production up here. This says they do 0.75. Okay. Our outposts are designed around... do we have an outpost? Outpost estimates? No, that's not the revisit. Outpost. Final outpost. Nope, that's not the final. I think we're doing half the size. 360, 400, that's not it. Coal outpost, no, that's the wrong kind. Wrong kind. Is it this one? I thought we decided on a shorter lane. Oh, that, you know, that might be correct. Okay, so we need 360 furnaces every... Oof. Hard to say. It's quite hard to say. 360 furnaces every 10 minutes, I think, was my goal. How much is that per second? So 10 minutes, that's 600 seconds. So 360 divided by 600. So to do that every 10 minutes, we need 0.6 furnaces per second. So that means these have to run full speed. Can they run full speed, though? Let's see. They have enough bricks, so that brick-wise, they could theoretically run full speed. Steel as well. The issue is the inserter count. So this is limited to 1.5. Okay, so technically these can run full speed. So I can get enough from just these. It is pushing it, but that means we could theoretically route these later if I wanted to. But we don't have to worry about it now. So for these, we probably want a chest, and we want to prioritize them later to a different spot. Or we can start buffering them. If we can buffer them the whole run, that also is very good. It's like we could theoretically, like this buffers 8 outposts, right? It also buffers enough for my entire base. Now it doesn't output that fast, but it does output faster, twice as fast as they produce. So this could work. We haven't really done a buffer chest in a while. Actually, that's a lie. We've done a lot of buffer chests. And now these need to go up. I think because the latency is so high, I want to start sending them up earlier just because this is pretty far across the base. If we do that at like stage 4.3, we should be good. Red belts, it's not, I wouldn't say it's cheap at this point in the run, but it's affordable enough that we can use it. So yeah, right now our goal is to just, oh gosh. Never mind. I don't think we can go through this. I don't think we can go through this, can we? Huh. No, we cannot. Okay. That complicates things a lot. I guess we can just go to the left and do some belt. Well, actually, we might not need to do belt weaving. Also, this does not need to be there. That is the old copper lane that we accidentally coppered. The old copper lane that we coppered. The old copper lane that we copied. And then we can truncate all of these because this is where coal stops. So I mean, look at that. We just saved a lot of entities there for free. And by a lot, I mean 50. These ones are not saved. These ones are not saved. This one's necessary. But we saved like 12 here. And like 12 here. Ish. Something along those lines. I'll take it. Free is free. Can't complain about that. And now we can go around. And then we can switch to belt weaving if we need. But we might actually be able to avoid belt weaving here. Because this is going through the base pretty cleanly. Okay. And this should be steel furnaces, which I think is the last thing we needed to get through the base. Now, I am still a little bit concerned about the mall. I don't know what stage these are on. I'm pretty sure I can click on things to see the stage. I just always forget about that. Okay, we need to shift to the right and continue going through. Oof. And now we need to belt weave. Unfortunate, not the end of the world. Because this is pretty close to the end of my base. Oh geez, okay. We can belt weave through the middle there. That was the wrong color. Ah yes, this is fantastic. This will be so easy to fix later if there's mistakes. Right? Because this is very easy to track. Let's shift this over because we belt weaved in the wrong spot. Okay, and we did not look high enough far enough into the future to figure this out. Okay. We could go up and then we can go to the right. Oh, we're so close though. Honestly, let's just cut through farther. Farther along down the line. That was the wrong one. And this is why belt weaving is madness. There's a reason I avoided it for as long as I could. Because it just makes a lot of things more complicated, and you don't necessarily gain a ton from it. I didn't realize we don't have coal, solid fuel. That's the correct one. We do not have solid fuel hooked up yet to the middle of our base. That is very important. Okay, there we go. Okay, this is free. We can say that's good. Okay, so steel furnaces are now being sent through the base. Awesome. Hopefully. I'm assuming. That looked like I didn't mess anything up. That's not based on anything, but I'm just kind of hopeful. Okay, so solid fuel definitely needs to be taken care of. So we can add another compressor, and we can send solid fuel through here, it looks like. Because this is a pretty important lane, and we don't have solid fuel connected to either spot. So we have 3 spots here, actually, that do not have solid fuel. If I could reverse the solid fuel belt, getting it from the left is maybe a little bit nicer. Although this is also supplying these, which will take forever. But we do have more space. We do have more space left over on the left, so that's why I'm leaning towards that. Oh, wait. This is a really easy spot to get a belt through, and we have space for a compressor too. Yep, never mind. That solves that problem. No questions we have to ask there. Okay, those are all full drags. We can save some entities, and then we can just send this to the left. Now, since we are splitting it, this might be worth using This might be worth using a red belt, just because these will be supplying so many different lanes. Because this is going to here. Geez, we have to split all of them manually. Or we have to rotate them all manually. Yeah, this is supplying blue chips, and it's also supplying speed modules. So that seems important. Hopefully the staging seems like it's right, though, to build this. And honestly, these aren't that long, so it shouldn't take an insane amount of time to back these up, right? And the blue chips are on this stage as well, so we can load them from this side, no problem. So if we're doing this, I think we definitely need a splitter. That would go here. Here. That's not a red belt. That's a red belt. And then to do this, the tricky thing is we actually have to do a double compressor to get a full red belt out of this, which is totally fine. It's just we haven't really done that in a while. I guess we can do it after. This is totally fine. So then we do a splitter, and now we switch to a red underground. So this works. Now we have some space here to clear, or to cover. It's not something that's going to be very copyable, but that's fine. Also, my sinuses are really rough today. I don't know. I wonder if I might have like a sinus infection. I feel like they've been bad for a bit. And it seems worse than the usual seasonal allergies. But definitely, I didn't want to skip stream today because of it, because I missed yesterday's. But yeah, definitely a little bit funky to talk sometimes. Okay. So this will let me split the solid fuel out here. Did we break that? No, we did not. Okay. Perfect. And then we can even recombine it here if I would like. But I think we send this over there, which does require a red belt, but that's only because of distance. Okay. And then we can send this up. And we can send it around. There might be a better option. I'm not entirely sure what else is on this belt, but it doesn't seem like it would be easier. I guess either way, solid fuel and red chips, I'm assuming these are red chips, are both on the same belt, which makes me think that self-feeding, or not self-feeding, we can't really do an easy coal swap anyway. So let's not worry about it. Okay, and then there was one other solid fuel connection, right? I remember there being 3. Oh gosh, weren't there 3? Yes, there were. Okay. I was like, this isn't great. Belt weaving it is. We don't need to combine these. Let's just do a regular splitter here, actually. Okay. And then now that that's close enough, I think we can just loop it. Okay, I wonder if we could have flipped these earlier. Actually, no, it wouldn't have really been more compact, I don't think, because the fuel connects here. We would have had to send it up and then back down, which we can't really fit that easily. I think technically it would have fit, but it wouldn't necessarily be easier than over here. And this way it doesn't need a decent prio. Okay, I think that is all right. Hopefully that is the only cheaty solid fuel we missed, which I'm immediately incorrect, but one can dream. One can dream. Easy fix though. Yeah, I don't know why I wouldn't have. Obviously, it's going to be messed up here too. We could pass another lane of solid fuel through here, but this, I think, this side is a little bit spent. We definitely have more fuel to spare on the left side than we do on the right side. Okay. There we go. So that's sending one full belt of solid fuel through. And then, I mean, split-wise, it goes through here. Then it goes through here and here. But there is a splitter to combine them, so it should be getting a full belt. This splitter right here is really just to help give it a little bit more than a full belt. So that should be fine. So this can get a full belt. These two can get a full belt individually. But combined, they can each get about 1.5 belts probably. Which is still more than enough. That's a decent start time. For something that's only about 100 inserters or so that need to be filled, 150. Okay. So steel furnaces have been sent to the base. We're going to do an optional send OG furnaces through base. So we definitely don't need to make more steel furnaces because we are currently producing enough to match our outpost goal plus an extra like 20%, which should be fine. Wait, hold up. Are these being split? I remember we're doing something. We're splitting one of the lanes for furnaces. I think it is the one that goes in steel furnaces, right? Yeah, so technically this one is being split into concrete, but I don't think it's going to be a concern at all because looking at it, we are splitting out half of one furnace, which is, so instead of 7.5, we're getting like 7.3, something like 7.2, I think. Okay, and then this, like I expected, can output faster than an inputs. Perfect. And then we only need one stack size upgrade for this to run full speed, which I think we should have by this point. We can do a very easy expansion if I need a larger buffer. But I don't think we'll deficit. I don't think bursting out furnaces is going to be a huge concern. Okay. So that one's good. We haven't connected stone yet. We haven't connected all of our copper. Okay, so we need to do the original connections. How can we realistically get these up here? This smart belt wise sucks. So I don't really want to do this design. Because the thing is, we don't put this up for another like 30 minutes after we do this. So I'm really trying to not complicate the gear lane. That's kind of the goal. I want gears to run as fast as they can before I start messing with it and making things, a little bit messy. That's pretty important to me. And then we also need to see how much fuel does an individual line use. 2. Okay, so I think we need more compressors in this area, like every 3 or 4. Because if we only do a compressor every, or sorry, if every 8, we're only going to get about 1.8 fuel, and we need about 3. So yeah, we at least need to do every 6, but every 4 is just a nicer number. Having it as opposed to reducing it by like a third, because we want some oversaturation. Okay, so what can we do with this? We could move this to a completely different spot. We can move it to the outside. That is a viable option. However, that will make bricks more annoying to set up, right? So right now, we would have to send bricks down, and we would have to send steel down to steel furnaces on the outside, and then we'll have to send them both back inside. So it is doable. That makes it easier to route this iron lane, though, which would be nice. Actually, no, it doesn't, because the gears are still there. This isn't smart beltable. Oh, I guess it's not going to be smart beltable either way because of these. That's why I did it that way. Yeah, we could do steel furnaces to the south, because this does produce... This produces almost half of my steel furnaces. So I really... Well, probably not almost half. It produces... We'll call it a third. We'll call it a third, because I'm assuming this doesn't really get enough bricks to run full speed. I mean, this isn't awful. I can afford 1 second to switch to a underground. So now we just need to figure out how do we actually get the steel furnaces through the base. So these would need to go... Ideally, we actually get them onto this belt, since then we don't have to route them that far. Because we could have a belt... We could have a belt that goes through here. It just like passes through the base that way, but much later. That shouldn't interfere with any building. This is actually running pretty decently. I'm pretty happy with this setup. So we should have more than enough fast underground. It's crazy how little we need. Like, this feels incredibly slow, but we really only use about 30 underground every 5 to 10 minutes. And this is only half of our production, so we should have more than enough. Yeah, we need to get steel furnaces over here. We could theoretically go around the outside. We have left gaps specifically for the purpose of being able to send things to different parts of the base later. So we could send steel furnaces all the way around. So this would require probably a red belt. Oh, that doesn't reach. We could do something like that. And then this one can go down. I don't like that, but it is built by bots, so I guess I don't have to. I guess I can flip these, right? Yeah, I can flip those. Okay. Hold on, that makes things a little better. Right, like there's no disadvantage to... Wow, I keep going to the wrong layer though. Okay, yeah, this works. Doesn't matter to me which side it goes on. So now we can do undergrounds like this, which is how we actually have that other lane up top. Okay, so now we need to weave this through the base And we need to do it in a way that doesn't make any of these undergrounds. Is that an option? I don't think that's going to happen. But we can weave these around the base. That's totally fine. Because, yeah, we have limited options here. We can't really just send it through here. Because we can't make this an underground. Like, I'm already hesitant. I don't like this already. I don't want to make it worse. But on the other hand, if we do that once, things get easier. Wait, why are these staggered? What? How? Oh, I intentionally staggered them to avoid placing it underground there. Okay. That sounds like something I would do. I mean, I could technically make this an underground if I just got to the habit of building it like that. Does that make things simpler? Let's see. It goes up, goes up, goes left, goes up, goes up, goes up, goes right, goes up. Cuts through here. It can do that with a red belt. It can do that with a red belt. Can technically go through there if I route stuff correctly, I think. Never mind, it can't go through there. What is this? Oh, that's the flying power. Okay, that's not a problem. Can we belt weave through this? No, this is too compact. It's unfortunate. This is literally the last obstacle. After this, it's straight. It's smooth sailing, straight shooting, whatever you want to go with. If we can get this through the middle, life looks like life is better, right? We can do this. What if we go through like here? That doesn't work. Sorry, that wasn't like a breath of anger. That was me, my sinuses being awful. So I had to like just breathe. Try to form words. I don't see a way. And I left so much space for spaghetti too. It's just we've already used it for other spaghetti. I can't shift this. No, that's definitely not an option. Can I belt weave through this? No, there's not enough space. Okay. Well, technically I can. Technically I can belt weave through here. Maybe that's what I do. So I can do this. Now I can clear it. Okay, I don't hate this. I don't love it, but it does what I need it to do, and that's important. That's very important. Okay, switch to a red belt. There we go. We can't clear that. That's fine. Okay, now, so I'm building all of these on the wrong layer, so hopefully it's pretty obvious that I don't need to build that belt. But we'll see. Honestly, I imagine that when we do the actual run, there will be a lot of belts I accidentally build way too early that I don't need to build. Because it's a little bit tricky to tell which is which, unless you just, practice a lot or have the staging down perfectly. Okay, so this should also help with moving stuff a lot closer for bots to build the future lane. So I think this is worth it. If we can buffer them in the same chest, that would also be nice. So this actually works really well. Yeah, okay. So the only issue with this, I think, is that we might actually starve them all from like refineries and stuff. So I don't know if I really want to do this. We could have I could have them logistics limited. Actually, yeah, never mind. That's a very we have solutions. We can limit the logistics network, I think. We can have the furnaces only produce if we have spare resources. Okay. So we now know we can make it through the base. Perfect. So now we have to rotate some things. And these are bot builds, so they can be rotated no problem. Okay. And then, oh wait, can we make it through this with yellow belt? Oh, that's cool. I thought it was gonna be a red belt adventure. Because yeah, we still want to reduce the amount of red belt when we can. Okay, and then these cannot reasonably be rotated because they are built by hand. So that means we have to make this a little bit ugly. That's okay. Yeah. It's not as entity efficient as it could be, but that is one of the prices you pay whenever you don't want it to be hand built. But you also have to build around something next to it being hand built. It's a weird balance. Okay, so this is the only part that we haven't figured out yet. There's theoretically a way I can sideload it, right? No. No, there's not. What if I sideload higher? No, that doesn't simplify things. Maybe if I build it in a specific order, because I don't actually know when this iron lane is going to be built. Nah, I don't think it ain't happening. We're just gonna do this. This uses more entities, but the reason that I'm doing it this way, actually, maybe I should just smart belt through this. I don't know. We'll see. But this gives me two ways to go about it, right? So we can either smart belt through this if we want it to go straight, or we can just hand build. We'll probably hand build because I want these built early. And this is a nice pattern, you know, 2, 2, 2. Just having them all the same length will make it a lot easier to build mindlessly. Okay, so these don't have any iron. Oh, they get iron from this side. I don't know why I have so many. Oh, I think it's build speed. We obviously don't have the iron capacity to support this. Like that. We have way more coal inserters. Three times the coal inserting speed as we do iron. But saving one inserter doesn't seem worth it whenever I can just do a nice convenient full drag and make things very, very cleanly. Okay, this is this is built by hand. That's terrifying. Okay. It has to be done, but it's gonna be rough. Okay, powerful connections are gonna be awful before bots. Because we just don't need that many of them, but once we do, they kind of just go wherever. So power poles are gonna be like me just kind of flailing my mouse around trying to find where the ghosts are. We're probably gonna have a lot of builds that are just not running. Oh, this isn't a safe design. Which I knew that going in, but how do we fix this? I could change my build order. Yeah, let's just change the build order. Yeah, some of our early designs we didn't have. We were missing a couple standards to what I considered safe. 3 inserters grabbing from one belt is not safe. One of them is almost always not going to have fuel, which we noticed. We noticed it pretty early, but there are still some mistakes before I really noticed how much of an issue it is. And then the mall, I don't think has that problem. Okay, good. And then, like I said, I can attach these to only run if... Now, it's going to be a little bit weird, but we need these to only run if we have spare... refineries? Which one's the least priority, actually? I should probably go with Kim Plans, actually. Hello, Pam. Hello, Pam. Welcome, welcome. So maybe that works. And they won't run for a while, and that's totally fine. They're just sending things through the base, but we need to make sure these are not starved of steel. Okay, yeah, these will all get upgraded. That should be totally fine. Okay. Yeah, we're cleaning up some loose tying up some loose ends today. Trying to figure out how the heck we build our base. This isn't finished. This is supposed to output onto that on that belt. Huh. What was my plan here? Well, that wasn't my plan. Oh gosh, we have so many belts that are reversed. I wonder if it was from when I like rebuilt entities, because we've definitely run into a lot of issues where we accidentally placed an underground on top of a regular belt, and that breaks the stage mod. This doesn't work. I mean, I could do 2 outputs. That's not awful. Because we really only need about probably 50 for personal use at a time, because there's no way we're outputting more than 2 furnace. And we'll probably have a ton buffered by now, so yeah, let's just do 2 stacks. We'll have 2 output spots, sure. This isn't the cheapest way to build it. This one's cheaper, but I don't. It is slower, so we'll go with the smart belt version. Okay, so send OG steel furnaces through base. We actually just did that. It was technically an optional thing, but I think doing it was a good call. It just makes it that we're not barely producing enough furnaces. It also does a good job of getting the furnaces closer to bots, because most of the furnaces we need by the time this comes online are going to be here. So it halves the distance roughly. Not quite because triangles, but it's pretty close. Okay, we need to send through the base rails, red belt, roboports, splitters, construction bots, signals, burner drills. Do we need roboports? I don't think we need roboports, do we? Oh, we do need roboports. Darn it. I hope we already did that. I don't actually know. I don't know if we have enough roboport production, actually. I don't know if we have enough roboport production. We need early rails, so that's a staging thing. Have we already done that? We need rails before we get to stage 3.1. Okay, so steel is made. Rails are not currently being made. So we just need to move everything for rails down to 3.1. And then we should be good. And then I think what we're going to do is I'm going to take the lazy approach, and I'm going to upgrade my entire coal grid, like, and move them all down to stage 2.2, which will upgrade some things that we don't strictly need. Oh, that's the wrong button. But, like, there's a lot of spots where I have, like, some random assembling machine in line with the coal grid. So we will waste some belts. Like right here, if I were to upgrade just the coal grid, I do get some belts I don't need. But it's a good way to guarantee that our coal grid is actually, functional. Another option is, I guess, to just build it very carefully. But that's easier said than done. Like, oh, just don't make mistakes is never a great, never a super viable option. Okay, so this would be here. That's a coal grid. Yeah, like right here, all this stuff needs to be downgraded. But yeah, we need to somehow get this to stage 3.1 without making too much of a mess. So what if we try this? 3.1. Okay. So that's this entire section, right? We can't skimp on the fuel either. Can't skimp on stone. Haven't really figured out how we're going to get stone over here. But it definitely needs to be done. Okay, 3.1. Let's bring those down as well. I don't know why those are skipped. Oh, because originally I did, right, originally Originally, I wasn't sure if I was going to be using rails, so we didn't build them super early. And then rails get buffered in this chest. Okay, so that should give me spots for me to build rails. And then theoretically, we have a spot for rails that are being sent through the base right now. I don't remember which one it is. Okay, so that would be this one. Don't know which side of the belt it's on, but if we can get rails over here, things look a lot nicer. Oh, look at that. So rails, 3.1. Perfect. Then we need the fueling. Yeah, this is what I was saying about the coal. It's really easy to miss a lot of the fueling. There we go. Okay, I think that moves all the fuel. There's just gonna be some random sporadic belts, but that's gonna happen. Not a ton we can do about that. Okay, so now rails are good. We can send those through the base. They really do not have to go far. I feel like there's some undergrounds here that I can't really cross. That makes me think we're gonna need a little bit of red belt. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's all we really need. Okay, that's not too bad. And then I need to sideload the rails over here. And we don't need a ton of rails in the outpost. We actually need far fewer rails than we do inserters. That's nice. We can save an entity here if I really want to. Sure, might as well. Doesn't cost me anything. Okay. The rails are now staged earlier, supposedly. Power poles we'll need to make sure we actually play. Honestly, power poles I'm thinking are going to be all like stage 2.3. I don't know if there's a risk. Oh my god, I'm dropped a lot of frames earlier. I just didn't have internet for like, I don't know, 32 minutes or something. Somewhere around there. Is my stream still live? Whenever it drops that bad, I always have to worry if I actually have a stream right now. Okay, it still seems to be up. That's good. No, it has to be pretty bad for it to be like completely disconnected, but sometimes it does have problems. Okay, so stone. I feel like stone, I want it to go around the base, like here, because I do have a stone lane here. And we can probably get a second stone lane, because I don't really see us getting an early train just for this. Actually, do I see a stone lane at all? Where do we need stone on this side? I think we only need it down there. So realistically, sending them around the base is not a bad option, because then we can get all of our stone from the left. Then there's a gap here where you can put an actual train later. Because we can only really get about 2, maybe 3 belts of stone from the starter patch. It's not likely that we're going to get more, so I'm going to make a note of that. And this we don't need until like 2.4, so we'll probably do something like that. And this will be built entirely with stone, not stone, with undergrounds, but until we actually get the full connection, I want it to be as obvious and high in entities as possible, because it makes it very clear what this belt is supposed to do. Which is, I've noticed, is very important for me for making my base a lot more smoothly. Okay, so these, because of how they're set up now, can probably just buffer like honestly 300 is a lot, but yeah, they can definitely buffer like 300 between the two of them. We need to move it to a lower layer because this is hand built, but yeah, we can definitely buffer about 3 there. Actually, wait, these would need to be, I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do red chests. I think we need to upgrade pretty much every chest with a red chest, and then we downgrade it during the run, and then upgrade it later. Just for the blueprints, which I don't think that's a problem. Honestly, I think pretty much every iron chest we have can just be a red chest. That would be the easiest. Okay, now I need to follow these. So we are in fact not sending roboports to the outpost. Okay. How do I do this? Is this a spare belt? If this has extra on it, that would be fantastic. Let's see. It has one resource on it. And it doesn't get another. This has a splitter that goes nowhere. Okay, that we don't have anything assigned to that, so maybe we're good. Let's see. We have signals. Let's turn off the blinking so that way it's easier to read. We have belts, other belts, splitters. We now have rails, burner inserters, burner drills. We obviously don't need wagons. We need construction bots. Oh, we need power. We need power poles. Wait, no, we don't. Why do I think I need power poles? This is a burner. This is a burner base. Why would I need outpost? Why would I need power poles for the outpost? Like, obviously we need power poles for the one roboport, but I have to get that set up anyway by hand. So, like, yeah, I don't need to bring power poles. I'm pretty sure every time I look at this, I think, oh, I need power poles here. Okay, so this is the one that has robots on it. So that means we could very easily connect roboports as well. And then I see a very reasonable connection here as well for outputting. Well, reasonable is a strong word. As far as burner inserters go, it's reasonable. There we go. Okay, now we can output. Underground. Awesome. Okay, so if we're lucky, what side of the belt do these go on? Okay. So if we do a side swap down here, we can guarantee that the robobots the robobots on the correct side of the belt. They might already be on the right side of the belt, but I can't be sure, so we're just gonna force the side load. And there we go. Roboports are now being sent to the base. And then these will be connected probably to this. Because wow, these are expensive. I'm realizing now that these are incredibly expensive to set up like this. Roboports greater than 20? 10? How much do I reasonably need in my base? Yeah, the issue that we're running into here is that this can back up like 300 roboports on the belt, which is like a lot. Oh wait, but they are going into a pass provider chest later. So maybe that's not a problem. It's like we can keep these here. We can have this output if greater than, honestly, 5. Because I was thinking if they backed up on the belt, they're just going to stay on the belt and not be usable by bots. But that's not entirely true. They're being sent up here. And we don't actually need them on this train, to be honest. But I think it's worth having them up here anyway. And then they'll buffer inside this. So, like, one will be put onto a train. The rest of them will stay inside of a passive provider. And then we'll have the same thing later whenever we start sending these through the base to our second train, which is what we have a note for. And then we'll start sending them up around like 3.2, I guess. But yeah, roboports are definitely one of those things where we need them everywhere, so I almost want to justify having random chests throughout the base to hold roboports. But then I realize we need such a small amount of roboports overall that the entity cost is really not that high to justify those kinds of decisions. That really goes for a lot of key builds actually. Like obviously we need power poles throughout the base, but we don't need a lot of them, at least especially as far as burners go. I feel like I should make all of these on a different stage. I don't think Roboport latency is going to be a problem. I'm realizing if I have this belt staged really way too early. Oof. Belt weaving, I guess? Yeah, belt weaving time. Yeah, if I have this belt staged too early, Roboports will back up on the chest, back up on the belt, and they will not go to production. Or they will never go to my bots. Which is important. We were literally just talking about that. Yeah, we definitely... it's a weird balance, I guess. Okay, how far can that go? That can just be a regular belt. Okay, I think we can say Roboports are officially sent through the base. Yeah, this isn't going to be a problem anymore. We can line them up with these. Make sure there's no belt weaving. Okay, so we sent those up way, way too early. So what we will do is we will downgrade this. This section right here will downgrade to 4.3. That should be fine. Stage move tool, 4.3. So this belt will build way earlier, but none of them will actually run until these last two get built, and I think that's totally fine. We could even do it at 5.1, because I feel like this doesn't go that far through the base, right? Like if we do 5.1 and then do a prio, that would also work. And then we want this prio as early as possible. It's just not going to go anywhere. Okay, that should be fine. We just need to get a rough estimate of latency. So if all of these belts are already built, we can assume it's pretty much just going straight up. That is 300 tiles. So that is a 300 tile belt. Belts move about 1.8 tiles per second. So that is 3 minutes of latency. That's not an issue. That's how long it takes for Roboports to get from the bottom to the top. And honestly, by that stage, it probably won't matter, because most of the Roboports should be placed by then. And yeah, that gives us a nice little spot here. Now we also need a building drain and a resupply train. We haven't set that up yet. But I don't know trains that well, so we're kind of putting that off. Add a fueling stage. Optional, we have the space. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay. Fueling stage, I was considering for the trains that we would have a train stop before every unload to stock up on solid fuel. The advantage of that is it lets you not recycle as much solid fuel at the outposts. Would not be worth it. You would add one extra train stop and it would save you from recycling like 2% solid fuel. I think you would waste more time on trains stopping and starting than you would on actually, losing a tenth of a stack of solid fuel. Like, that's really, really nothing. Okay. That wasn't supposed to go down. This is pretty important. I wanted to read it. Rails, red belt, rebel forts, splitters, construction bots, signals. Signals. Do we need signals? Do I need signals at the outpost? I don't know if I need signals at the outpost. Huh. Do I need signals? If I do, I need like 5 of them, so I should probably just carry these on me, right? Like, I don't think I necessarily need to have them on the building train. In fact, it doesn't do anything if they're on the building train, because the building train wouldn't be able to move until the signals were placed anyway. So yeah, I think that's just for personal use. Oh, burner drills. So burner drills we did finish. I don't know if they're going all the way through the base. Let's see. They are not. And then that's another thing. How many burner drills do our outposts use? Da, da, da. We have to do math. How do we do that? I don't think we can do math on this. Hmm. None of these run full speed. Actually, no, all of the furnaces run full speed. All of the furnaces run full speed. So that's 360 times 0.625. That is 225 resources per second. Each burner inserter is 3.75 items per second. So 600 burner inserters per outpost. Okay. 600 burner inserters per outpost is terrible. That's gonna suck to get. I don't know how much I can produce right now. I don't think I can produce them fast enough. Technically, it says it can. So it's a strong maybe, I guess. It says it can produce enough. So we have to get them through the base. How is that gonna work? What's on this belt? Oh, this one's coal. Okay, so we need like we need another splitter in a weird spot, like maybe early on to bring just burner drills. And then maybe I could bring signals. I could do burner drills and signals on this train. Because it's one of those things where I don't think I technically need chain signals for a non-automated train. Like when there's only going to be one train on at once, chain signals aren't that helpful, right? So that might be the key to simplifying this a lot. Okay, where is this? Okay, then once again, we prio left, but we don't move this until way later. Which let's actually do the correct stage this time, 5.1, especially since we'll be doing more staging later. And then since we only really need the burner drills, if I split off the inserters earlier, that could be good. Okay. I like how we have a radars and a red belt chest. That seems very silly. But it's because the radars are going to the satellites. It just seems so useless because, you know, radars aren't really that helpful. I need to figure out. I do need radars actually, but I don't think I need that many because I think in the actual 100% runs they do like a radar build that just consumes a ton of energy. I don't think it's done to consume energy, but I think they need to start scanning the outpost. I don't know how much we reasonably need from that though. Hello, Marco. Welcome, welcome. We're trying to send a lot of the building components through the base right now, so it's a lot of trying to understand past me and figure out why why things look how they do. A little bit problematic, but most things we've been able to figure out why they look so much of a mess. Okay. This should be good. So this gives us all the burner drills we need. I did not realize we were producing so many burner drills. If our goal is... Let's see, we need 600 over the course of 10 minutes, so that means we need one per second. We could theoretically do an outpost every 6 minutes still. Or not, about 6.5 minutes as well. If we decide to lower our goal. I don't really know how fast the outpost will build. I'm aiming for one every 10 minutes in most of my calculations, because I think that's how long it will take me to set them up. Which means we'll be outposting for like 2 to 3 hours, and then having like a 2-hour wait at the end. But that's about what I expected. I feel like a lot of our estimates are going to be off. Because we can really only do very rough calculations. But I don't know. I don't think... I think we'll be pretty close to our goal. Okay, so now steel chests. We need 1 per yellow assembly... No, 2 per yellow assembling machine, which is actually very little. I was thinking these would be pretty expensive, but I don't think I'll have a problem getting enough chests. It's really weird that we have to use steel chests, but that's because our outposts run for so long, we need the buffer. So this is the outpost. We need 144. So 144 over 600 seconds, that is 0.24 per second. Theoretically, this can produce way more than that, but that's not with burner inserters. Okay, so 0.24 per second is how much steel per second? 2 per second. Okay, yeah, we have enough steel for that. 100% runs. The outpost blueprints include radars. Occasionally, when they're close to running out of outpost spots on the visible map, they'll place a blueprint with 20 radars near the edge of the map. Oh, okay, so that's what the radar blueprint is for. It's for whenever they've just scanned too much or scanned everything nearby. Cool. I wasn't sure if they just had one radar section like in the middle of the base. Yeah, I figured the outpost would have at least one radar. We might need to add more to them. Fortunately, the radars stop here, so it's very easy to get them to the outpost if we want. Ironically, I have them set up in the outpost that's close to my base. I don't have them set up in the outpost that's far from the base. Yeah, we need more radars. I'm assuming the radars that they have in their base, the outposts, are just the bare minimum they need to cover the outpost visibility. Is that a fair assumption? As opposed to, like having like 50 of them. Okay. Yeah, I actually that one I can probably check. I can never look through their blueprints and understand them. Let's see. It would be green chips. Let's see. They have 4 here. Okay, so it looks like maybe a little bit more than bare minimum. Or maybe they just want to make sure they didn't miss any chunks. Yeah, okay. It's definitely a little bit more than bare minimum, but... Because I think that's more radars than you would need to cover this. It could maybe help with not messing up chunks. And then these have 8. Okay, this one's definitely... Okay. So this section has 4, and this section has 4. So this is definitely more minimum. What's this arrow from? Oh, is that where resources come from? Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. What did they build that with? What's that made of? Is that concrete? Wait, is that landfill? Oh, that's clever. How did they do that? How do you do that? I guess if you have a lake next to it and then you landfill the lake. They're actually editor mode. You can probably just place landfill on anything. Never mind. It's probably less less inventive as I thought. Okay, so yeah, we'll definitely need radars. We definitely completely forgot them as well. So it's incredibly easy. And we're sending red belt anyway, so literally all we have to do... Well, we can't send red belt here, actually. So we basically just have to do this. There we go. If I knew which side radars were on, we wouldn't need this second splitter, but it's not a huge deal. So obviously prioritize the radar. But this belt now has radars and red belt on it. Yeah, I really don't know what side radars are on. Otherwise, we could do this with one less splitter, but also one splitter is basically nothing. So it's not something I could justify stressing over. Okay, we're starting to run out of things we can pass through the base cleanly. I think our easiest option is to actually go through here. And then once again, we don't need this until a much later stage. because this is not necessary until the outpost. Okay. Yeah, okay. For the moment, I'm trying to conserve red belt, but I guess I don't need to care that much. Because yeah, red belt does, the cost of red belt does add up, so I want to not use it if I can avoid it. Like right there wasn't, or if I can easily avoid it. There's a lot of places where I can avoid it, but it's tricky, not worth the time investment. How did we get this swapped? Also, what is this chest? I don't know. Let's delete it. Okay, and then this gives us red belt, and it gives us radars. Does this matter? No, but I'm going to shift them over so it looks nicer. There we go. Okay, so now we have radars, rails, construction bots, roboports, burner drills, red belt. Okay. We can technically put one more thing on the side of this burner drills if we want, and then we should have underground somewhere, right? Yeah, those were sending through at the top. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything we need from the original base, right? It's just finally time. We've needed to do this for a while. It's just I think we can finally justify it. Now this part I'm not sure about. So we do technically have stuff being produced in our OG mall. Those ones I can't justify sending through our base. Because I don't think our OG mall has a theoretical production that is that high. And most of the stuff in the OG mall is like a complicated recipe, but it's not a particularly expensive one, so I just made extra assembly machines up here. Because this scales really well with bots. So that's why I couldn't really justify it. I feel like speed modules have to be producing, they're just not because of power. So I'm going to say these are connected, but we're going to leave the infinity chest because it makes things a little easier to tell what's happening. We need assembly machines. No. Those, we're producing so few assembly machines, and they're so cheap at this point in the run. I definitely cannot justify sending those through the base. Like, we need 100 assembly machines. Sorry, 1,000 assembly machines per hour max. Like, that's really easy to do. Well, a little bit harder to do with burner inserters. Like, you can see here, we have 3 of them. These, theoretically, combined could produce, what is that, like 10,000 per hour? But because they're so inserter limited, they can only produce like a tenth of the rate, which is why we have 3 of them. But yeah, they have more than enough. Okay, these are good. Sent through the base. We can produce more up here if we need. We might not need to though. Super cheap. No reason to send through the base. They are being sent through the base, but that's just because they're being sent for building. I might as well combine them at the end. Same with these. Now red belt we don't use a lot. We haven't fully set up this design yet. So like this doesn't include the fuel. So the numbers here aren't right. But everything, I think we're not sending splitters through the base. That is one thing we're not doing. So that means we need to be able to produce 1,200 splitters per hour. That's one every 3 seconds. That seems reasonable. I think this should be able to supply that. Yeah, I don't think that will be a problem. These would have to be incredibly inserter limited, and well, they are. Let's see. This has. I'm assuming we have iron and we should have iron and belt on both sides. This should be an iron belt. Oh, actually, this is a belt. So yeah, we should have iron and belt on both sides of this, which means on average these are moving 1.8. So I'd say these are working about 70% speed. It's pushing it, but we can always do more. We might not have enough splitters. But like I said, that's a pretty easy expansion. especially if we don't need a ton of these ones. Outpost. Okay, we actually technically haven't sent those to the base, but they're produced really close, which is why we haven't bothered. Like, they're right here. So they're effectively sent to the base. I like how I keep tabbing out. What if we do this? Well, look at that. It's on our hotbar now, so we can not click off every time. Your robots are good. Oh, we already have radars in our design. Awesome. We can probably remove a couple of them. And I think it would be best if we move them more central, but that's totally okay. Technically, our outpost is not finalized. We're pretty close to it being done, but I do need to finish a couple things. Okay, so now for steel. We really do not need that many steel chests, so this should not be difficult. Two inserters into a steel chest is technically enough. We'll probably do 3, because I think we need 2 steel chest designs. Or sorry, 2 outpost designs. One of them will be designed to run for 6 hours. The other one will be designed to run for 4. Because our original outpost will stop running roughly like 30 minutes to an hour before the run stops. I don't think that will lose us a ton of production. But if we can make a design that uses 3 chests instead, that will basically solve it. I have no idea what this is. This is a stick destroyer for me to test throughput. Okay. Actually, no, not a stick destroyer, but this just destroyed... It destroyed spare belt to see if I had enough resources to produce at max throughput. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then this is the steel lane. So we can split it off here. And then, yeah, it should be really, really straightforward. Steel chest. 4 inputs. There we go. We can use a splitter here if we want. Actually, no, we can't. But we can do this. And then these need to be moved. Oh, wait, this doesn't work. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. We already established that 1 is almost enough. 2 should be fine. Okay, so now if we split off fuel, this should have fuel on it, so that's one way to do it. Then this needs to go over 1 more tile. Burner inserters builds are rough sometimes. Okay. I will send this straight up. This doesn't go anywhere. And then we'll send it back down. And then entity save, entity save. Okay, good enough. I don't really know which side fuel is on. It should be on the far side, which means we should just be able to do this as well, which will increase the start time of this by a very marginal amount. So we're not going to worry. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, and then if we move this over 1 tile, we have an output. Okay, not a problem. Like, what else are we going to put there? So this says it can produce 1.5 1.5 per second. We need 1/8 of that. And we have 3 inserters. Yeah, we're good. We can produce 1/4 of that. So we can do about 1 steel chest per 3 seconds. Then I imagine we'll be able to belt weave them through here without any issue. And now we're at the point where belt weaving is actually not a terrible option, because it's fairly cheap. Because we just increased our red belt production by a pretty sizable amount. I don't know how much exactly, but I know it's a lot because we have this. So previously we had this, so we tripled our red belt production. And honestly, we don't even use that much red belt. Actually, we don't have a great estimate on how much red belt we need. But I think triple is enough. Because we actually, we redesigned our outpost to use significantly less red belt, which helps a lot. It uses more yellow belt, But it doesn't use that much more yellow belt, so it reduced the cost of the outpost by about 30% when we removed the red belt, which is very sizable. It's like this much more iron that I would have to get, which is an entire new iron train. So I couldn't justify leaving it. Okay, I think those are good. I like how I have this question mark that says produce more. I'm pretty sure we're good on burner drills. Okay, I'm gonna leave that because we do need to double check. Double check. Like I know we did the belts for all of these. Optional can be hand belts. There we go. We don't need that note. That's obvious. Okay, 2 stone on the right, 5 stone on left. We need to figure out how to do stone, outpost math, fixed train logic, early rails, staging phase. Okay, this one we did set up. Ooh. I forgot you can click that button. I just use this as a list, so it's not that everybody else can see. Otherwise, I would just have these written down, and nobody could judge me for how long my to-do list is. Because I'm the type of person who writes like check mail on the to-do list because it makes me feel nicer. Most of these tasks I don't really need to write down, but sometimes I think of them like right at the end of stream, and I'm just like this one. I would 100% forget this. It's actually not true anymore. Oh, we hooked that up. Change military to earlier stage. Okay, so that one I'm not sure if I want to do. Because all this lets me do is get construction combat robots early. I think we can make do with grenades for the first couple outposts. Because this is only for while we're fighting these. And honestly, there won't be that many bases that we need to build to destroy to get like these starter ones. Because bots don't really start to appear until like you go for the really far iron. The 600% base size is a lot. And we'll have power armor. Well, actually we won't. Will we? Is power armor military? We'll have the basic power armor. We'll have nothing in it other than I think maybe LDS, not LDS, exoskeletons. So yeah, we'll have the basic power armor. We'll have exoskeletons. So that plus grenades will make combat fairly trivial. We need a tank. Also, I think this is where I originally wanted to do concrete. I actually ended up building it down here. But I was going to do it up here before I realized that bricks are not super accessible down here. I would have to route them all the way through this base. Which seemed a little bit messy. So we just built them on the end here because this had more than enough space. So yeah, we'll just delete. Oh, maybe we'll leave these here because this could be a reminder. Nah. We'll just make the executive decision. I don't need those. Okay, advanced oil. We haven't really done that yet. Roboports aren't done. Oh, bricks for refineries. Steal from OG base or at smelters. Okay, so these are still connected via infinity chest, which is it's a very, very big problem. Military science is possibly done by now, but I feel like there's a lot of brick lanes that are backed up at this point in the run that we can steal from. So this can produce 15 bricks per second. These consume these consume 10, so that leaves 5 bricks per second on this belt that we can use. And then there should be another brick lane like down here that we could possibly balance from or steal from. The real question is how much do these refineries use? The max they can theoretically use is 3.75. So yeah, we can just steal from the military science. No problem. This is 15, right? Yeah, 15. Okay. And then for this, we need the splitter to be built early. Feel like we're gonna go around the top. It looks like we already did coal. Awesome. I think if we go up, this works well. Yeah, that seems fine with me. And then I think I'm just gonna leave the split 50-50. Because military science should be like half done by this point. Oh gosh. Things are getting messy. Gosh, I can't wait until I realize half my belts are flipped and I have to fix all of them. Won't that be fun? We're definitely going to do a lot of just blueprint bot building tests. Like maybe not actual runs. We'll do some actual run stuff for practice, but a lot of it is just going to be making sure that the blueprints do in fact work. Maybe not are balanced. That requires actual runs to test, but there are tests you can run to at least make sure, you know, the base is connected to each other. Easiest way to do that is to just paste the blueprint. See if there's conflicts, then paste the next stage. Then each time make sure your base works. At least the obvious things work. Because as long as belts are flowing, you're probably connected correctly. Which is, you know, maybe a bit too much faith to put into the building. But, you know, we do a lot of faith-based building here. We just like to assume things do in fact work. Even when there's no reason for us to believe that. Which is why we call it faith-based building. We just kind of hope that everything works in our base. It works out pretty well, surprisingly. We can also call it denial. That's another way to describe it. But bricks should be good. They are going through our base. Awesome. Honestly, I think one thing I could do to check, I could download the mod that highlights belts that are built on, I forget what it's called, but you can highlight an entire belt chain and it shows where all the branches go. That's a good way to test to see if things are flipped and going the wrong way. We can't have that mod on constantly since I think it has conflicts with stage blueprint planning. So it's not something I've wanted to keep on. But it's definitely something we can probably work with. Okay, and then how many RoboPorts does our outpost use? Oh wait, I forgot we put this on here. 9. That's not considering the outposts. That's not considering not the outposts. That's not considering the drills, which is probably another 10 to 20. That means we need 30 every 10 minutes, which is not that much, right? That's like 1 per 20 seconds, something like that. So how much do we produce now? That's the real question. I think we have to calculate it manually. Because this says we're producing 1 per 5 seconds. So this is saying we're producing 5 times more than we need. However, burner inserter belt limitations. So it looks like they all have a dedicated resource. So gears are dedicated somehow. We accidentally broke the belt. I'm assuming that's supposed to be iron and gears. Okay, so gears are dedicated, steel's dedicated, red chips are dedicated. So that means we can scale this, right? So these can move about 1.6. So 1.6 over 4.5, these are producing at about 35% speed at best. So we multiply that times 0.2 times 0.2. So these are producing 0.07. So 1 per, what is that? 1 per like 15 seconds or something like that. It's pretty close to 1 per 15 seconds. So technically that is enough for our outposts. Barely. We need more RoboPort production up here. Okay, so these are being sent through the base though, so that's fine. We'll definitely need to change the buffer size halfway through the run by the time we get to this stage. Because most of the RoboPorts within the base have been built, and that's really all the buffers are for. We'll have a different spot we can buffer them to. Actually, yeah, let's... honestly, that can be changed early. I don't think we need more than 10 immediately anyway. Wait, is this our only RoboPort production? Don't we have RoboPorts here? We never set up early RoboPorts, did we? Oh, yeah. Okay. Did we really not? Really? Yet we have wagons. Okay, I mean, maybe it's because we didn't think we needed that many. Also, how are we making person? No, wait. It says Roboport by one machine. Is there any way to highlight the machine? No. Okay, so this is like a Where's Waldo situation. Oh, there it is, there it is, there it is. Okay, so technically, if we can output from these... Oh wait, this isn't hand buildable. Hold on, we messed this up. I mean, it is hand buildable, but it's not ideal smart building. Ideal smart building has no undergrounds. No underground gaps. Yeah, okay, that's why though. That makes sense. So this isn't ideal smart building. This one can be though. Okay, so theoretically, this can give us enough roboports. Because this one is the same as the other one. It's producing about 1 per 30 seconds. So if we have 3 of them, we're producing 1 per 10 seconds, which means we have to get this over here if we want to use them for our outpost. You know what? Most of the ones that we use for the outpost, we do... Most of the things we produce at the outpost, a lot of the roboports especially, are placed by hand. So theoretically, we can just have logistic bots bring them to us from here, because they go into our player, right? So that should be fine. I think we can just leave these. I'll add an optional thing. First, Roboport assembler connected to train. It is so far away. Let's see, you really like factory search mod. I wonder if that breaks with this, because that sounds fantastic. Isn't, they're adding that kind of stuff to vanilla, right? I feel like 2.0 is adding search functionality. They're adding a lot of things that were like quality of life mods into the actual base game, which is really exciting. Actually, what was yesterday's Factorio thing? Oh, it was like all they talked about all the performance improvements or something they've been working on, which is pretty exciting. I don't remember exactly what they were, but it was an interesting read. But my memory is awful for small things like that. No, my memory is just awful in general. Full stop. Okay, how does this work? I didn't actually read the instructions. Ooh. Most of it will be? Okay, but not all. Interesting. Ooh. Okay, so it can't switch stages for me, but that's fine. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. Never mind, this isn't my base. There's 3. Okay. This is cool. I don't know what these mean. Sending signal. Huh. Okay. That's neat. I hope this doesn't break stuff. There's always a possibility. Some mods do janky things which very much break the staged burner. Which admittedly I think that happens because stage burner does some janky things, but you know, it happens. Where did I just delete that? Did anyone see where I was? Okay, there we go. I wasn't in map view. So when I switched stages, it broke things. There we go. Okay. That saved a few entities. But yeah, the stage blueprint planning, I think, also has some jank to it, which makes it that combined with other jank, it breaks breaks things horribly. It's still a very good mod. Okay, so Roboports possibly. Speed 2s for labs. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. We don't need that. I very highly doubt we need speed 2s for labs. If we really need it, I think there's a spot we can add them. But I would much rather just use the speed mods for something else, or the speed mods for the outpost, because I do not see a world where we are that research limited over the course of like 8 hours, right? Like these are already 6 times boosted. Actually, is there math you can do? How do you figure out the effective research speed for like something that takes a minute? Do you divide it by the total research speed between all of your machines, I guess? So my effective research speed should be about 6.5 times 24. So 156. Okay. And then, so that's like having 156 labs. So if it takes 1,000 science every minute, that takes 8 minutes. Well, that's a lot. Um, Hold on. Productivity. How long is this research going to take? So this research is going to take 45 minutes. I guess it takes me 45 minutes to launch the rockets. Not this one, but the one before it is going to take me about 45 minutes to an hour to research. What's my rocket launch speed? I guess that's what it boils down to, right? I feel like my production speed is more limiting. We can launch a rocket every 10 minutes, I believe. Okay, yeah, that's pretty close to barely enough science research speed. We could afford to do speed 2s though, right? Let's see, where are we producing them? That's the real question. Wait a minute. Let's try this. There we go. Okay. Neat. How do I unhighlight it? Refresh? Maybe it just goes away. Oh, it just goes away. Okay, cool. Okay, so theoretically, this is outputting here. We could have a splitter here if we want. Okay. Let's prepare for that. Oh, it moved us to a different stage. And I lost track of where we were. This where over here, right? Okay. So theoretically, we could do this. And then we could have another chest here. And then we can get speed 2s for 0 extra effort. Which side of the belt is it on? Speed 2s? Oh, wait, these are not set up properly. We changed the logic on the wrong stage. Okay, that should be better. So this doesn't actually need to be a combinator, constant combinator. If we use a decider combinator, that also works. I don't think it matters. I doubt any combinator is more expensive than another. But this works because really all this is doing is counting, which I think any combinator can just count every time an inserter grabs something. So this only produces 25. It outputs onto this side of the belt, which means this needs to rotate like so. Okay. What if I do chest limit of like 10? That could work. We're doing it completely on the wrong stage. We were just talking about this. Okay, and then output prio left for sure. And then actually we could build this on a different stage. That would also help me prioritize it. Okay, so that builds slightly later. And then we want this to only work if speed mods are less than like 10. I don't know, that's not a lot of buffer. But also this only produces one every minute. So this one takes 25 minutes to build this. Something like that. Yeah, it takes like 25 minutes to build this. And then it takes another would take like another couple hours to build this one. So speed mods. How how many is this? That is 68. So I would need 120. We're producing one every minute. So that is 2 hours to get all of the speed twos we need if we want to put them in labs. You know what? I think that's fine. Considering it is just a what if we need slightly more production thing, it's not necessarily something we need. I don't know what this combinator's doing. We're just gonna leave it. Let's do 25. We'll keep 25 in buffer. I think that's okay. Then this one now works until about 175. No, 168. We need 140 more, so about 165. Now I am slightly concerned that the splitter will be not prioritized. I could enable the inserter later. Hello, Arturs. Welcome. I'm trying to figure out right now if I need speed 2s for my labs. I feel like I'm like 90% sure I don't, but since we are technically producing speed 2s here, I figured I will just roll with it and use them anyway. Because worst case scenario, I waste green chips that aren't going into anything. So I don't think we starve anything if I make them. All we'll do is maybe waste a little bit of fuel. But yeah, as long as my prios are right, I should be able to afford that. That just gives me a little bit more wiggle room if I forget to research constantly. Because obviously this should have more than enough research speed. We're doing this over twice the time. But there are a couple researches I want to be able to burst out faster when I need them. And research lab speed should help with that. Especially considering we only really have 24 labs. And I don't actually know if that's a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot to me. But yeah, our task list is pretty low now. Let's see, redesign outposts. Okay, so that is part of outpost math. We do need to actually finish the outpost. Bricks for refineries. We did this one. Enable, disable, and outpost logic and use fish for filters. Okay, I know what this means. I don't know what enable, disable means, though. This has to do with these outposts. I know that much. Oh, okay. Well, the fish part is good. Enable, disable, building, trains, when materials received. And actually not even enable. Disable, building, train, station, when materials received. There we go. I need to figure out how to do that. It's gonna be fun if Mark II only gets 24 speed 2s. For 175 from late research. That's why I have the split. That's why I have the prio. And we also have some surplus built in. But yeah, that could cause some issues. Maybe there's a better way I could do the logic so that can't happen. Okay, I know what we can do. Yeah, let's do this. Decider combinator. Because I am scared now. Okay, this doesn't need to be connected. We will do speed modules greater than equal to 25. We built this on the wrong layer, though. Oh, wait, now this could just never work, right? What if we do it like, what if I do like 20? Because this won't start counting if the combinator is placed too late, right? So this could also cause problems. Here's a solution to that. Build the stage super early. Where do we build combinators? We get combinators around stage 3. So maybe I should just build every combinator I have this early. Like that's honestly not a terrible approach, right? Combinators are pretty cheap. Sure. Okay, this is really the only thing we need early. Okay, so this one, no enable disable. We literally just read the hand contents. We pulse. You remember correctly, there's a brick and train that is red. Yeah, we're using copper for ours, but yeah, we do have something like that. We just don't have the outpost set up. That's just a reminder. Honestly, it's mostly just reminding me I need to build the outpost logic in general. But yeah, we're using copper, just because copper plates happen to be closer to our train than anything else. But I imagine the general design idea is the same. Iron chest equals 0. Output. I don't know. It really doesn't matter what this outpost. There we go. Look at that. It outposts iron chest. This is just to hold a signal. Okay. So now we can enable this once it gets like 20. And then this one doesn't really have much to the logic. This is literally just reading. Okay. That should work. Copper is less of a value due to the lower use of electricity in base. Wait, do you mean like the value of sending a single copper to the outpost? You bring up a good point. Copper is way less valuable. If it weren't, we would definitely have to go through and get bricks from, let's see, copper we get from here. But like we should have gotten bricks from here. Or we almost had to get bricks from there if copper was too pricey. I wonder if the belt cost would ever pay for itself. Probably not. You probably spend so many more resources on belt. Actually, yeah, I think I need like 30 undergrounds to do that. I wish I could make it a decision so unhinged. Huh. That was actually not set up correctly. I'm glad we noticed that. Okay, so this should count, and this one doesn't activate until speed 2s are mostly done. Or Power Armor Mark 2 is still mostly done. Another option, now it's tricky to do, maybe impossible to do with the spacing we have. If we counted the resources earlier, that would also help. Also, let's just increase this number. If we do something like this, that also helps a lot. Now this will buffer too many speed modules, but that's okay. Actually, wait, how many will this buffer? Should I just leave this uncapped? I'm not sure actually about that. That's an easy thing to change later in the run. Because if this is a problem, I think most of my base will be pasted before it's a problem, because this genuinely takes 2 hours to produce. So I think we'll have plenty of time to react to a mistake like that when I'm waiting for UPS for my outposts. Yeah, honestly, I don't think this is gonna do anything. I wonder if I can do... without the splitter. No, because then I'm grabbing from a corner. There we go. Okay, yeah, we'll just do the splitter. What we really need, though, if this maybe produce 27 of green if some end up on the wrong side of the splitter. Thank you. I would not have thought of that. But yeah, that can happen. Is it 27? Is that enough? Or do I need like 28? Because it would just be half a belt, right? Half of one, half a belt. Okay, so yeah, 27 is enough. I was thinking of rounding to 30, but it doesn't seem necessary. No. Okay, pumps or GC outposts. I think we decided we don't need pumps for the GC outposts. Because I redesigned the outpost fueling. Read fuel directly in front of first lab inserters. Okay, so I know what that means. There is a possibility I could redesign this differently. Oh, that's the one I have right now, actually. Because it's easier to... Oh, wait. We have both designs right now. Okay, so... we can set this up a little bit easier. If we just sideload coal onto the side and don't worry about this. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think I prefer that option. We don't need this logic. Because this, like, I obviously don't want a lot of them, but having just this on our circuit logic, or on our network, not the end of the world. 100 inserters on circuits, not gonna decrease our performance too badly. I obviously don't want it in a ton of designs, but we can afford it here. Okay, let's see. Change military to earlier stage. Decided I don't need that. Grenades are good enough for a while. At least for the outpost, that will be close enough to need military on an earlier stage. Produce top plastic earlier. Okay, so that one's a staging issue. I don't think I care about that anymore. Because we rerouted our plastic, right? So the issue with that was that the plastic needed to start... This came from above, which we didn't get until way later. But I'm fairly certain that we fixed that. And now at least half the plastic... No, yeah, all of the plastic now comes from here. So that's totally fine. So that will at least get us some early LDS. And then the rest of the plastic can start up here. I think that's okay. Although plastic is pretty important. You know what? It's not that important. We'll just do... If we think about it, we can try to do the stage earlier, because we're going to split these into sub-stages. They're not going to be that... they're not going to be that well thought out. The sub-stages are basically just going to be to try to split them into like 600 to like 1,000 entity stages, or however much I think should be on a stage. Because the way that I have these set up right now is the general build order I want. Like, I need all of this stuff at roughly the same time, so it doesn't matter that much if some of them are built early. So I really just want the bulk staging phase to just be saying, hey, build 600 entities, build 600 entities, build 600 entities, etc. Or 1,000. We probably don't need to do just 600. But I don't want to place 10,000 entities in a stage like I have right now. Like, this is a big stage. I cannot do that. So let's not worry about this. That one's done. Power poles through base. Okay, so we don't actually need to send power poles through the base, but we do need power poles in general. But I don't think we need a ton. That's like one of the last things we'll do, though. Because once I do power poles, I lose a lot of possibility to do belt weaving. So I really do not want to place them. Player refill train. I don't know how we're going to do this one. I do say I want to repurpose the original outpost train, which that does seem reasonable to me, because that has... it doesn't... It doesn't have red belt. I think we just need to do a refill train here next to the other train. I also don't think that's the huge going to be as big of a deal for us as it is for the actual run to be able to, send rails wherever we are. Clean up the mall. I think we already did that. The mall looks pretty nice to me. I mean, your perception of nice is completely ruined when this looks nice, but we do what we can. This is really the part that I would want to clean up, and even this doesn't look that bad. I wish we could do a higher density of fuel here, but honestly, this looks all right. Okay, I think honestly we might have already done that. I think I've had this note for a while. Let's make sure it doesn't have any subnotes though. Okay, more red belt and red underground. Ooh, we did this one. We did this one yesterday, or not yesterday, Tuesday. Okay, burner drills. I say burner drills are being produced at a bare minimum, but I'm fairly sure that is just wrong. Because I checked up here, and these are supposed to be producing 1.5 per second. And we only need, at max, about 1.5 per second. But that's if I increase my goal by 30% for the number of outposts I need. So I think we're good. We're definitely not producing bare minimum. Because I'm aiming for about 10 minutes per outpost. I think theoretically I can do a lot in 6 minutes. But even then we have enough drills for that. Because to do 1 per 10 minute, we need 1 drill. 1 drill per second. And we have 1.5. And that's even with burner inserters. I wonder if maybe I thought it was at the bare minimum, because in my mind that was before we got stack size 2. Or 3, whatever you want to call it. Being able to grab 3 items at once. Spare resources to outpost production. I don't know what that means. Might have extra steel. Could be worth belting. Okay, that's not worth it. I know what this means. So this is saying if I have like steel down here, I could use it up here. It's so easy to just build a steel lane. That is not worth it. And I think I'm already sending some spare steel pretty close. But this steel is not our bottleneck. Irons, honestly, most things aren't a bottleneck at this point. Other than the ability to get resources through the base, which this does not solve, so let's get rid of that. Higher rocket goal version 2.0. Okay, so I do want to eventually aim for, if I do this again, I want to aim for 8 more rockets. But that would allow me to reduce my outpost size, but that is an hour. I think mining productivity, hold on, let's get an estimate. Mining productivity 6, 7,500. We have a research speed of 160 labs. So, an effective research of 106. Actually, wait, no, we have more than that. Because of the mining productivity, the productivity bonus. So we have the research speed of 192 labs without speed 2s, roughly. So 7,500 divided by 192. That would take 40 minutes. It would take 40 minutes to research mining productivity 6. And all that would do is reduce the amount of the burner drills I need at each outpost by like 11% or something. It's pretty small, right? What's 1.5 over 1.6? 7%. It would decrease the amount of burner drills we need by 7%. And it would require 50% more rocket launches. Yeah, we can say that's not a high outpost. Okay, first RoboPort assembler connected to outpost train. Optional. I don't think we need that. Repurpose or downgrade initial brick build. That is this one. No reason to do that. Absolutely no reason to do that. Player refill train. Okay, so let's see. This will be able to do on Tuesday. This will be able to do on Tuesday. Brain stuff is something we should keep till the end. And then we need to do the outpost. Most of this stuff is outpost stuff, actually. Like, yeah, pretty much all of I'd say half of these are doing the outpost logic. A couple of them are fixing up the new outpost. And then we can, I feel like we'll be able to start practice really fairly soon. We're definitely getting close because this to-do list is very small. We need to clean up the to-do list. We need to paste things in a specific order to check that our stages are usable. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to be somewhat usable. Like, especially, I really only care about these first ones. So as long as these ones work, everything after that does okay. Because these stages are about 80% of everything we need, 80 to 90% of everything we need to build the rest of the base. So as long as these are staged properly, we have everything we need to build these ones. So even if things don't run right away, we'll at least be able to, get the missing belt that we need to build the next stage, stuff like that. Whereas if these don't run, they'll never like start running themselves because they're just never going to get the correct belt, the belt built. So we need to be very careful at checking these. And then that's it. After that, these ones can be messy. We obviously want these to build in a decent order, but if they don't, the biggest downside is just that we're going to have like 1 hour where we don't get like purple science, which, I mean, it's not ideal, but most of our time will be spent connecting outposts, so we'll recover. Yeah, that's all for me today. It was an early stream because I have somewhere to be in an hour. Actually, like 40 minutes now. Hopefully my sinuses are better. Talking was really difficult today. I think I'm hoping it's just allergies. I'm worried it might be like a sinus infection because it's a lot worse than allergies normally are. But I'll probably try just mixing up allergy meds first. See if something helps better. But that's it for me today. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow, unless my allergies are like really, really bad. But we'll be doing space exploration tomorrow. And then Sunday or Monday we're gonna finish up Red Wraith's run. Or not finish, but we're gonna continue Red Wraith's run. Now that we know that what the launch objective is. We have to launch 10 rockets. Well, technically 34, but we're decreasing it to 10 because there's only one of us. But that will be, so that's the weekend plan. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.